Hi, and welcome to Investment Banking University, where we teach you how to become an investment banker. Today, we're going to be talking about an interesting topic, and it's one focused on how to be a consultant. So, we're going to be discussing a major methodology and the basis for consulting. So, it's a really important topic. So, the consultant's role is to aid in the building, selling, or buying of a perpetuity. Since the consultant's value is in relation to the perpetuity, the consultant's core methodology and body of knowledge is thus perpetuity science. Perpetuity science is a set of methodologies related to the building, selling, and buying of perpetuities, which is respectively referred to as the build side, sell side, and buy side. The key questions related to each side of the perpetuity are: number one, how to build a perpetuity; number two, how to sell a perpetuity; and number three, how to buy a perpetuity. So the consultant uses methodologies related to each one of these key questions to serve as the basis for a consulting engagement. So number one, for the build side, we're answering the question how to build a perpetuity. So we're naturally going to discuss the phases of the perpetuity and getting to phase number one, and then moving through the phases ultimately to phase 5, which is at diversified. So how to move a company or an opportunity to the next stage of the perpetuity building process is really what we're focusing on. And the methodology for the phases of the perpetuity is the following. Number one, syndication, getting to PMT, or our first payment. Number two, job shop, going from PMT1 to PMT2 to PMT3. These are all disparate jobs. Number three, moving from and transitioning from PMT to an actual cash flow is how we make the distinction between a job shop and a perpetuity, a very important distinction. Number four, a growing perpetuity, moving from CF over R to CF over R minus G, where G is the growth rate, which actually makes the R, or the denominator, smaller, and thus the valuation larger. Number five, diversified, perpetuity 1 plus perpetuity 2. So the basis for the consulting engagement is actually identifying, number one, where the company or opportunity is at in the phases of the perpetuity, and designing a plan and helping to execute the plan, moving to the next phase of the perpetuity, depending on where they are and where they'd like to be. So in terms of the second phase of the perpetuity, the sell side, associated with the key question how to sell a perpetuity, we are going to be focusing on how to obtain a valuation higher than the net present value of the perpetuity when we're making an exit. So the methodology for doing so is to get a buyer to price in the next phase of the perpetuity into the current valuation. And this is really a part of salesmanship on behalf of the investment banker or M&A intermediary. And an example of this is if the perpetuity is at the perpetuity phase, get the buyer to pay for a growing perpetuity to price in that future growth into the current valuation. And so in the third side of the perpetuity, the buy side, we are going to be answering the key question how to buy a perpetuity. And so we're focusing on how to locate and take ownership of a perpetuity that is being valued at less than its net present value. And the methodology for doing so is to get a seller to accept a price for a previous phase of the perpetuity. It's going to be at a discount to its intrinsic value. So, for example, if the perpetuity is at a growing perpetuity phase, we're going to try to get the seller to sell for a perpetuity valuation. And that's going to be a part of negotiations and talking about sort of the key risk factors that we see going forward and that sort of thing. So that is how to be a consultant, and we're going to go much deeper into each one of these key questions and really discuss what the build side, the sell side, and the buy side are, and the breakdown in the book Investment Banking, which you can pick up for free at investmentbankingu.com, and that's on behalf of Investment Banking University. So we really look forward to seeing you. Take care.